I'm hoping that we got to go fast. All right, we're at 2:07. Got a lot to cover on in this week of supervision, and like I'm tackling a topic that is difficult to cover, but we have to talk about ethics, and ethics can be political. It could be against personal beliefs and things like that. But we have a code of ethics that we have to uphold. And I've been getting more into ethics with my supervisees for the simple fact that many times they're not 100% concerning what they should be doing on a job and what they shouldn't be doing. The majority of my supervisees don't know that much. They know what they kind of need to know for the most part, but I shouldn't even say that. It's a lot that we don't know about ethics. And I'll be honest, over time, I've been getting deeper into learning more about it myself. So we're going to talk about a little bit about ethics. And the topic is when your social life impacts your pro-life, okay? So when your social life impacts your pro-life, and this is a real life example I want to use. And when we're talking about pro-life, we're talking about you being a social work pro. But in this example, we are also talking about pro-life, meaning abortion and pro-life. And so we got an interesting vignette that we're going to use that we use in supervision. And this went off very well with all four of my groups. Okay, so before we jump into that, I do want to kind of put you all, give you all, I'm just going to spend about 30 seconds on this. We do have a supervisor training coming up on November 13th and 14th. We hope that you can join if you are looking for to be a clinical supervisor or a non-clinical supervisor. We've got a training for you on the 13th and 14th. And even if you're just looking for continuing education and opportunity to get some live CUs, we want to make you aware of that. Also, we are putting the finishing touches on our DSM-5 comprehensive assessment and diagnosis training. We're hoping to everything is looking good for the 17th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's going to be a 3-hour. So for those of you all who are looking to make sure that you get this new training, that the board is going to be requiring for clinical social workers. It actually, because I don't want to just be having people buy and it's not necessary now. Definitely come, but this goes in effect next year. Okay, so I don't want to mislead on that. It goes into effect next year, but you can use the CEUs today. And so just wanted to make you aware of that. Yeah, so you can get that ahead of time, and it shouldn't hurt anything. All right, so yeah, so this training, and well, let's get on back to our subject here. All right, and so I wanted to use this example, right? How can I do this without showing y'all everything? I want to use this quick example, right? And we're gonna get into some stuff. And just, this is what I like to do with supervisees, is kind of challenge their thoughts. I don't get into political stuff. I don't like politics. I hate politics. But some of our things do border it. And so it's good to use examples that are relevant. And this is a real life example. And we really got into this. We had a great discussion. So here's the scenario. Sarah is a dedicated social worker with a passion for working with women facing life decisions. She specializes in counseling clients on reproductive health and family planning. She is also a strong advocate for the pro-life movement and actively participates in anti-abortion demonstrations and events during her personal time. Okay. While Sarah's private conduct aligns with her deeply held beliefs and values, that's her personal beliefs and values, it raises some ethical questions when it comes to her professional work as a social worker. She understands that her role as a social worker requires her to provide unbiased, come on, let's hear that, unbiased, right? Non-judgmental, okay? Client-centered, oh, this is good. Client-centered care, right? Ooh, okay. However, her involvement in the anti-abortion movement outside of work may have implications for her clients and the therapeutic relationship, considering she does not believe in abortions and does not feel that she should participate. That should be doesn't feel that she should participate in advocacy for abortions. That's her belief. Like, so what we did, we presented like a multiple choice situation here, right? To see like how would we react in this situation. Okay, I gotta move fast. And so one of the questions, let me go and share my screen and see. I hope I'm moving fast and I don't want to mess this up because you can't say, you gotta say the right stuff on this. I don't want to mess anything up. But I gotta hurry because I gotta pick up my daughter. But which section of the NASW code of ethics is being violated in this example where a social worker's private stance as an anti-abortionist interferes with their ability to fulfill their professional responsibilities? That right there, ability to fulfill their professional responsibilities, that may sound subjective, but if it happens, it can't happen, okay, for us as social workers, according to our code, right? But what code? All right, section 1.05, cultural competence and social diversity. Section B, 4.0, B, section 4.02, discrimination. C, section 4.04, dishonesty, fraud, and deception. Section D, 4.03, private conduct. What do you think the answer is to this? What do you think the answer is to this? And that's kind of how you pose it to your supervisors when you're trying to find these things to talk about, right? And so that's how you pose it. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so the answer here is actually private conduct. And what I did was try to support the supervisees with understanding what private conduct is. And it's a simple definition, private conduct. It says social workers should not permit their private conduct to interfere with their ability to fulfill their professional responsibilities. Is that what occurred in this example? And, that's what we have to ask ourselves. Is that what occurred in this example? This is what we're talking to our supervisees about. Yes, it did, because guess what? It says that she decided on the job that she should not participate in advocacy for abortions. This is a tough type of situation for some people, right? But we have to understand what our code of conduct is, and we have to make sure our supervisees know that as well. So we're going to talk about a few things about what you would do in this situation. We may get to that. But one of the questions I want to ask is, how can you create a situation where your personal life does not interfere with your professional life? Okay, that's a really good question to ask. Your supervisees need to know that. Can you have, this is a tough one, right? Can you have beliefs, your own personal beliefs, that are contrary to the code? Your personal beliefs that's contrary to the code, the social work code. I'll tell you, you can have them, but we better not know about them. Not we, I don't make the decisions, but in the profession, it better not be known, because this is on the job, well, at least on the job, okay? And this is a real life situation. And I want to ask the question too, like when and what situations might we be in as social workers? Because we have different belief systems, right? But what situations might we be in to where this is actually a violation? Well, the example shows that there was a decision not to advocate, okay? And so that would be a problem, okay? So because according to the code, what the code says is that we cannot be unbiased, we can't be judgmental, and we have to be client-centered. I talked a little bit with the group about Carl Rogers. Like Carl Rogers would leave everything to the client. He believed in empathetic understanding, congruence. What else? Congruence, empathetic understanding, unconditional positive regard. These are some things, I guess, that somewhat are being articulated through what we see in the ethics, that we should be non-judgmental. And I would just say, like, well, do we have the freedom to just do and say whatever we want to on social media? We have the freedom. It just may be that something that you believe in, and this is a more realistic situation, but we have some more radical situations too. And so as social workers, we just have to be aware of what we're putting out on social media, because we could put out something that offends one of our clients, and then this could be a problem for us maintaining our license. Our supervisors need to know this, because our license is on the line if they're going not upholding the code, right? So this is the thing, like with Sarah. Oh, I gotta finish this up with Sarah. I'm just gonna skip. I'm gonna skip. So what if Sarah? It says, well, let me just read this. How does Sarah's personal involvement with the anti-abortion movement potentially intersect with her professional responsibilities? That's one of the questions. Let me share it real quick. Okay. Let me share this. I had some good questions, man. I thought they were good. I don't know. And we didn't have no issues. We didn't have any issues. A lot of discussion. It enhances her ability to provide unbiased care. It may create conflicts of interest or affect her ability to offer non-judgmental counseling. It is entirely unrelated to her social work. It improves her client's trust in her as a professional. And on this one, we're going to say that it may create a conflict for her to where she's not being non-judgmental. Okay. And in this example, it wasn't even may. She was being, well, I don't want, it's hard to see. According to the code, she's being judgmental. Okay. So then we'll just leave it at that. Right. So we can't do that. Right. So what do we do in those type of situations? And this was the thing that I had was you got to be realistic about this. So let's just say that Sarah, she's out there on the picket lines, if that's what it's called, on the demonstration lines, and she's the one that when you come out, she may be chanting, she may hold up the sign, because this is with the fetus. And so we're in a situation to where it's a small town. So like after hours, she knows when her client works, and then after hours she's out there. Okay. And so there's a real potential. Sarah knows that, like, I might see my client at the abortion spot, because the client has already decided they're going to do this, right? They're going to do this and they're moving forward. I might see at the spot. So do we talk to our client about, in any situation, like even if she didn't know that she would be at the spot, if I have a value that conflicts with that of my client, it could be something religious or something. Do they need to know that? Do I share that with them? See, that's a question that we had a lot of discussion about that. Do I share that with them? Sometimes that may be jumping the gun. Sometimes it may be necessary. In a situation with Sarah, I might say it might be necessary. You feel me? Because she, like, here it is, Sarah, let's just say she has an excellent rapport with her client. Her client trusts her. She just thinks the best of her. But then all of a sudden, she shows up to go and get the abortion. And guess what? Guess who she sees? Guess who the client sees? Sarah. One of my supervisors said that if that was me, I would feel betrayed. I would feel that she's trustworthy. It would destroy my image of her as a professional. It would be dishonest. I would feel like that she was just in the business to get a paycheck. Woo! It's some serious stuff here. These are the things that we discuss, and we don't want opinionated responses, although we take opinions, but we have to drive our supervisees to understand what the law is saying in our states, because actually what I was reading, and I think this is true, sometimes the law may not, what we have as far as the code of ethics from the NASW, it may not even be covered in the law. So then you have a whole nother situation there. I want to get into that. The thing is, we want to train our supervisors to make sure they understand what to do in these type of situations. And sometimes that's going to take and rely on clinical judgment. Okay, I think I may have escaped this without causing too much commotion, because that was not the intention. But we have to talk about these concerns, you know, because we may be on either side of the fence. This same scenario could be presented in two different ways, right? And so we need to be aware of how to follow. All right. We're going to end it here. I've gone a good bit over time. I hope y'all have a great weekend. We will see y'all again next week on This Week in Supervision. Y'all take care. All right. Bye-bye.